Hello everybody, this is Michelle Fox and welcome back to The Simple Quilter. Today is May's Monthly Magic Sew Along, and for those of you who are new to my channel, the Monthly Magic Sew Along is just a sew along, and each month I show you how to make a cute little mug rug. We'll be making 12 for this sew along, one for each month of this year. And if you go back and look at the first videos, it shows you how I put together a little binder to hold all these in case you want to use and make a little binder to hold your year-long monthly magic sew along. Okay, so let's get started. Wait, before we do, I just want to mention the quilt behind me. It's called the Cottage Sampler. It's an old pattern, but I wanted to hang something new up. So actually this is an old one that I made years ago when I first started quilting, but it needed to hang up a little bit, so that's the quilt behind me. Okay, so before we get started, just a quick review of what we have so far. There's January. There's February. Now, if you've missed any of these, you can go back and see them in my previous videos. There is March. Last month's was a cute little bunny. So those are the first four. I'm having fun with this. I think this is lots of fun to do. Okay, so there's those. And let me show you today's. Okay, so here's May's. I love to garden and I thought a flower would be pretty neat, so I did a little tulip. Here's my drawing. I'm not sure you can take a snapshot of that. I'm not sure, it's a little confusing when I drew it out. I couldn't quite draw it to scale, but I think this will help you. So you can take a snapshot of that, and then here is the instructions for the pieces that you'll need. So you can take a snapshot of that if you'd like. So you'll have that. Okay, so first you're gonna need to pick your background, and from your background fabric you're going to cut 3 2 1/4 squares. Now in the mug rug they're gonna go here, here, and right here. You are going to need 1 3-inch for your flower to make these half square triangles here and here. You're going to need a 3-inch, so that's a 3-inch square, and you're going to also need a 3-inch square for your leaf. And along with that, you're going to need a background square for each of those, because we're going to be pairing those to make the half square triangles. Okay, you're going to need a 2 1/4 inch piece for the main portion of your tulip, there and here. So you're going to need a 2 1/4 inch square there, a 1 1/2 inch square for the yellow here, and you're going to need a 1 1/2 background fabric for here. And then here you're going to need a 1 1/2 by 2 1/2. Wait. Okay, so you're going to need 2 pieces for the sides here that are 1 by 5 3/4, and then you're going to need 2 pieces that are 1 by 6 3/4, and that will be going around the outside. And then over here, of course, we're going to need 5 assorted pieces of coordinating fabrics that are 1 3/4 by 4 inches. Now, also for my batting, I cut my batting 8 by 10 1/2, and the background piece is 9 by 11. You can see the background of that super cute fabric. That's the same fabric here that's shown here. So let's get started assembling this block. Okay, so for your half square triangles that you're going to need right here and right here, you're going to take your 3-inch squares of each color. Okay, so on the wrong side of your background fabrics, we've done this before, you're just going to draw a line from corner to corner. Then you're going to draw a line 1/4 of an inch away from that, and 1/4 of an inch away from this. You'll pair those up with right sides together. We're going to do the same here. And then 1/4 of an inch from each of those. And we're going to pair these together. And we're just going to sew right on the seams. Then once we have those seams done, we're going to put our ruler in the middle, and we're just going to cut down there, so we'll have 2 half square triangles that look just like this and just like this. The next part I want to show you how to make is this little unit right here. So you're going to take your 1.5 inch piece in yellow and in white. You're going to put right sides together and just sew 1/4 of an inch. So you'll end up having a piece that looks just like this. Then you're going to take your 2.5 inch, 1.5 by 2.5 inch, and you're going to put that like that and sew that together to make a unit that looks just like this. Now, this is a little tricky. I mean, not super tricky, but not everybody does it like this. Now, I oversized this. This block needs to be a 2 1/4 so that we can sew it with all the other 2 1/4 inch blocks. Okay? So that's just going to be cutting about 1/8 of an inch off all the way around. Now this doesn't have to be, you know, perfect. It needs to be a good 2 1/4 inch square, but you don't have to make sure that's exactly half and that's exactly half. It's okay if it's not perfect, because nobody's going to know. And if they get their ruler out, shame on them, right? Okay. So here we go. We're going to take our block now. And we're just going to assemble it. Okay. Okay, so here's our block. And we're just going to start sewing it. Now this is how I did it. I sewed these 2 together, these 2 together, and these 2 together. Then I sewed these to that, these to that, and these to that. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'll show you what's next. Okay, so here are the pieces now. These 3 rows, and I'm just going to sew those together. Now, this row, on my samples, I seem to have to rip that out twice, so be careful when you sew that on. So you have to be careful when you sew this piece on and make sure you have it the right. Now, I just press the seams going opposite directions, so all I have to do now is sew that together. Okay, so there you have that. Now I just have to add my side pieces and then the top and the bottom. Okay, so I got the side pieces put on. So I'm going to pin these on there and sew those together, and then that will be done. Okay, so there's that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew these together. All of these pieces together. And I'll be right back. Oh, I'm going to sew them together and I'm going to press them. Okay, so I got those pieces sewn together, and then I'm just going to take my backing and my batting, put those together, and machine quilt it. And I use the straight line matchstick quilting, or 4th inch quilting, straight line quilting there. And then I just trim this up to 6 by 9. You can take some off here, and you'll have to take a little bit off here, maybe a little bit off both ends, or you can leave it the size that it is. But that is May's Monthly Magic Sew Along. And then you can add whatever binding. Now I think maybe on this one I may add a green binding. I think that would look neat. In fact, I may use that binding around the edge. Now in the comments below, tell me how you like May's mug rug, and tell me how you're coming along on the others. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Please share with a friend. And as always, leave those comments. I love to get those comments and try to reply to each and every one. So until next time, have fun quilting.